Hello everybody, welcome back to another trade recap. I've got something new for you guys where I'm going to be taking $4,000. I'll post up that I did deposit $4,000 right here into an account, and I'm going to basically be showing you over the course of the next year what that $4,000 will be at the end of next year. Hopefully, it'll show you guys kind of a real understanding of what scaling an account that size would, what it will take to scale that from, 4 grand to whatever it is going to be. I can't give you an exact amount because that'd be stupid, because you never know, how much money you could have made between now and then. But essentially the idea is to give you guys a realistic idea that it is not impossible to make money in the market with even just $4,000, right? You could even start with $1,000. Without further ado, let's jump into the trades that I did take today. Even though the market today was just absolutely dreadful and completely boring, because there was just not a lot going on, but we did end up being able to make at least a little bit of money. So let's jump over to this right now. So to start out with, I'm going to jump over to the daily, and I'll give you guys kind of like a recap of what I believe is going on as far as the market as a whole. So at the beginning of last month, right, we had this major sell-off before that, right? And really where we caught wind to where I believe that we are in a very bull-sided market was when we broke structure right here, right? If you guys don't know what break structure is, I'll make a couple videos to go over like the basics of like what break structure is, what a trend is, what a fair value gap is, what an inverse fair value gap is, all those terminologies that you probably have been hearing. I will start to make some new videos here in the future on that kind of stuff. But if you look right here, right, we broke structure here on the 15th, and while also bouncing off of this daily fair value gap. When we did that, we changed this trend that was once a sell-off to now where we've been heading up, right? We took out these highs, we almost took out these highs. So right now we got double, we got a double top here, relative equal highs. Coming off of one, we had our retracement back down at this fair value gap. We filled a little bit of it, and we haven't yet to make new highs, right? So we have a high here, we have the relative equal highs, and we have this new high that we made, was this last Friday, and we'll be taking out these highs. If not, obviously our bias can't change still, right? If we come down, we close below these lows, then we're back down to a downtrend, and we could be heading down to take out even lower lows, right? But as of right now, the market to me is very bull-sided. And we jump over to the 4-hour, give you kind of my bias on the 4-hour, where this morning we bounced right off of this 4-hour fair value gap, and which led us to come up and take out these highs from the 9th, right? So I ended up taking shorts right around this area when we did end up taking these highs. But to jump back over to the 15-minute where we started to chart everything out, this is what the 15-minute looks like. I'm showing you this, guys, because I'm showing you this like this so that when you look at my chart, you're not going to be overwhelmed with everything that I like to have going on, right? So I like to jump in and I like to mark out everything from the 15-minute down to the 1-minute, and then I like to take trades based off of that, right? So we had highs here, highs here, highs here, which all ended up getting taken out right after we took out these lows, which is also is only 1 hour, which is also these 1-hour lows right here. Boom, took them out. And it's also 15-minute lows. We end up taking these out. We bounced off this 15-minute, which is where we've kind of just headed up entirely all day long, right? And we've respected every single fair value gap that we've made, right? There's even a couple more right here. We've got this one. So every time we've made a new high, we've come down, retraced into a fair value gap, and then we ended up making a new high. So we could potentially see these highs right here, taken out sooner or later, right? Because we came down so far. We have respected this 15-minute fair value gap. It is possible that we come up and we take out these highs. Granted, though, we are at this area that we have bounced off of twice already, right? We bounced here, came down, and then we end up bouncing down there to make this run that we're off of. This is more of a retracement though, up into what I believe this is the target to begin with, right? This is major imbalance. Came up, we tapped here, right, and then we've sold off again, and we didn't really get any upwards until we now tapped here, and now we are start to regaining some momentum to the upside to most likely fill a lot of this imbalance, if not the whole thing. So this is where we started this morning. The market hasn't even opened yet, which is where I get into kind of why I didn't get into any trades here. One, I missed this only because there was news at 9 o'clock and I didn't want to get in too early and then get wrecked by news. So I would have entered in right off of this break right here. Okay, if I can find the correct button. Right, and I would have targeted a good portion of this move. This would have been kind of my target. Right, that. But like I said, there was news at 9 o'clock today that I didn't want to be a part of. So I just ended up taking this trade. So even when I did take a trade here, Powell was still giving his testimonial. So I really didn't take much because of that. And the other trades that I did take were actually afterwards when everything was over. So if we jump into when I actually took a trade, we can, so what was happening is I had seen that we'd come up and we had taken out this liquidity, right? Came up, took out this liquidity, and we started to fall. The moment that we didn't retake these highs here, and when we inversed this fair value gap right here, was when I looked to take short. So that was the first trade that I was looking to take. I ended up taking shorts right off of that. Boom. We took out liquidity. We closed below this low, which signals a break of structure right here. And I look to target, anything below that. So my stop loss looked a lot like this, about 125, and ended up getting stopped pretty much out at break even. But if we jump over to the next one, if you look at this trade, so we came up, we took out some more liquidity, right? This 15-minute liquidity, and we were up inside a 15-minute fair value gap, and I seen that we had this rejection candle followed by an inverse fair value gap. We're immediately off this inverse fair value gap. I did wait because like the second this candle closed, we get this candle going the opposite direction. So I was like, okay, maybe I won't take shorts yet. But the moment we seen this here, I then entered, which I literally got stopped out to the tick. As you can see, if I just had it at right there, we would have hit full TP easily. But that's kind of the bullet you have to bite. I mean, could I have had a better stop loss if I had just put it there? Yes, right up here above these highs, obviously. But that was more than what I was willing to stomach on a day like today where there was news. Not a lot you can do about that besides just take it. So this is the trade that I ended up taking and being relatively successful on it. It was on NQ. The other two were on ES. So if you look at NQ, essentially we came up, we tapped off of this fair value gap, right? And we kept rejecting it, right? We came up, rejected. I didn't take anything here. There wasn't enough for me to take, right? And it wasn't until we came up here, rejected off of it again, and then we started to kind of build structure, sell off, right? If we look right here, we had this. These are all the markings that I was typing out as stuff was happening. I'll show the video at the end for you guys of the trades I actually took. But if we look right here, we came up, we tapped this fair value gap. This is where I started to look to get entered. I was looking to get in up here. There just wasn't enough for me to want to still take. It wasn't until right here when I actually did enter to take shorts, right? I didn't immediately jump in. I wanted to see what we were going to do. And then obviously the moment that this closed and made a fair value gap, I then went enter the shorts, and my stop at the beginning looked a lot like this. It was up above these highs, targeting these lows, right? I knew that right here we could see a bounce, right? Liquidity down here, which is where full TP was somewhat set, right? I had it more at 400. I think 200 was the stop. And then the moment that we broke down below here, stops were dropped, and then we ended up actually selling off what would have been full TP, right? I ended up taking about 190 on this trade. It's pretty decent. I mean, we had stops about 200, so I would say it's a 1.0, slightly less. I was mainly kind of just sick and tired of the day just because of how slow everything was. I mean, it was dreadful. I put you to sleep kind of slow. So main reason why I sold out. I did have my stops trailed. Either way, if I didn't sell here, my stops were trailed right around in here, which I would have ended up getting stopped out to begin with. But overall, I ended up on this specific account making, it was 97 realized P&L, gross realized, and then after commissions, it was about 74. So between the 4 trades, right around $20 in commissions. Not the greatest day. Not the greatest day at all, right? Obviously, there was a lot affecting that as far as news. But we ended up coming out in the green. But that about wraps us up for this trade recap. If you guys do enjoy this, make sure to like and subscribe, and I will see you guys in the next one.